Today, I'm going to show you how to use a drum smoker. One of the main reasons I wanted to talk about drum smokers today is because when we're at competitions, one of the most common questions that we get is how do we like our drum smokers? So we're going to go through all of the advantages and maybe some of the disadvantages today to the drum smokers. So what is a drum smoker? Typically, it's a 55-gallon or a 30-gallon drum that's just been converted into a smoker with a basket at the bottom and some intakes somewhere. Today with my Race Crew drum, the intakes are at the bottom. A lot of other brands have two intakes that come up the side just to create maximum airflow. Gateway drums makes great drums. Quattro D drums makes great drums as well. But today we're gonna be focusing on the Race Crew. Now the first thing we wanna do is get our drum smoker up to temperature. And since this takes just a little bit of time, we're gonna go ahead and light it up now. Today we're going to be using fire starters to get our drum smoker up to temp, but a lot of the times in my videos you'll see me using a charcoal lighter, and that is just a little stick that's typically made for weeds. I'll put a link in the description. The setup is extremely simple. My Race Crew is a 55-gallon drum. You can see the charcoal basket is all the way at the bottom, and I have two different levels here that I could put my rack on. The bottom level is obviously going to allow me to get closer to the charcoal for more of a sear or a hotter cook. And for me personally, I'm always cooking on this top rack, and that's going to get me a little bit further away from the charcoal, and it's going to be a little bit slower of a cook here. Now, one of the biggest advantages with drum smokers is that you're cooking a lot hotter and a lot faster than normal. So you are going to have quicker cook times, which is great, but it could also be a disadvantage because if you don't watch out, you could really char up your food. You could get a little bit of that bitter taste on it, and you definitely don't want that. One of the attachments you can use to make your drum smoker run a little bit more efficiently is called a diffuser plate. This one was actually made by Race Crew. He can make them for your drum if you buy one from him. And what it does is it basically makes it to where the grease will not hit those coals as often as if there was no diffuser plate. You can see there's some holes where the grease can still get through, allowing for that moist environment in your drum. But overall, this is going to protect your meat a lot more if you have it in. In my opinion, the best tool that you could have for your drum smoker is going to be a half water pan. If you have a 30-gallon, it's going to be a little bit smaller. I don't know the exact size, but on a 55-gallon, the half water pan is going to be perfect. When it comes to cooking competition barbecue, we're really interested in making good looking food. We feel like the water pan helps us achieve that. So what we'll do is we'll hug it to the left side. Don't ask me why I always have to have it hugged to the left side. And we'll fill this up around 3/4 of the way with water. What that allows us to do is have this top grate here, and we can consistently spin our food. We'll show you that in just a minute, but it makes it to where we do have a safe zone just in case the coals get out of control over here. We could spin the food away, let it relax for just a few seconds, and then put it back over the coals after a few minutes, whatever you guys want to do. I like to rotate my food every 30 minutes. I found that it just works really well with my schedule. If you want to go 15 minutes, that's completely fine. If you want to go 40 minutes, that's completely fine as well. Do this the way you want to do it. Now, the one thing I will say is when you're opening and closing this drum smoker, you want to make sure to do it quick. Things can really get out of control. It's been about 30 minutes and you can see our coals are nice and hot. So we're going to go ahead and close the drum up. I have all of the intakes completely open, and we're just going to wait until it gets right to 300 degrees. Now, my target temperature with drum smoking is anywhere from 300 to 325 degrees. I don't want to go very much less than that, and I don't want to go any higher than that. If you're noticing that your drum smoker is not quite reaching those temps, go ahead and pop the lid again, let there get some oxygen in there, hopefully get that fire a little bit more lit, and then keep closing it until you get right to that 300. And now that we've reached 300 degrees, we have some pork that we're going to throw on. This is just some country style pork ribs. And one of the main things I'm after is the sizzle. Let's see if we get the sizzle. Absolutely, we get it. That's one of the advantages of cooking on a drum smoker. You're gonna get that nice flavor off of this drum. That sizzle is gonna create some of the drippings on the coals. It's gonna be like a steam-like effect. It's gonna create a really moist environment. And although we're not cooking too much today, what I would do here consistently is be spinning it, because if you look at the coals at the bottom, one half is a little bit more lit than the other, so we kind of have our safer zone over here. I can even feel it just with my hand. Right here is hotter than over here, so we'll do what we have to do just to make sure we don't burn anything. Now, because fat is dripping on these coals, it is causing everything to flare up. Like I said, you want to make sure to close your lid really quickly just so that doesn't get out of control. That is one of the advantages of using a drum smoker. The drippings are going to go right onto that coal bed, and it's going to create a little bit of steam and a very moist and flavorful environment. That's why you do get a different and better flavor a lot of the times with a drum smoker. And while we're letting the fat hit the coals and we had the lid open, you can see that we're over 400 degrees. That is a lot higher than I want to be cooking on my drum smoker at any time. So if that were to happen to me, what I would do is I would start closing everything down. That fire needs oxygen in order to stay lit. If I cut off the source by closing the vents, I can let everything die down a little bit and then open them back up when I'm around the 250 to 275 degree mark, getting right back to that 300 that I oh so want. And about 45 minutes later, we have some fully cooked country style pork ribs. One of the biggest advantages about using a drum smoker is how fast you can cook, and especially how delicious it turns out. So juicy, so tender, so delicious. I have never had a complaint about any of the food that comes off of these drum smokers. As always, we really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.